Basil, basil, my basil, take one. Audio test. Opening the pots. Alright, stir that up. It is rocking and rolling now. Hello everybody, welcome to My Life Solutions. Today I'm going to show you how I make my spaghetti sauce. Homemade, right out of the can. No, just the tomatoes will be from the can. A lot of people don't have time to grow their own tomatoes. You know, it's a lot of work. People don't usually feel like doing it. I personally have a small garden, but mainly I focus on peppers. I just love them, all different kinds. Sweet peppers, hot peppers. You guys might have seen my ghost pepper video. I got another one coming soon, actually. I'm going to step it up a notch. But today, just showing you how I make regular spaghetti sauce. Actually, it's going to be a meat sauce, but you can just stop it before you put the meat in there. Alright, so the first thing I like to do before I even start cooking my spaghetti and meatballs, meat sauce, or just plain old spaghetti is choose the kind of bread I'll be having with my dinner. Typically, just regular Italian bread. Alright, so I open the crushed tomatoes first and throw it right into the pot. Then I'll take a little bit of water, rinse out the edges. Just enough to get a little bit in there, and then it gives you a little water because I'm going to be cooking it down a little. I don't want it too thick, and I don't want to use too much water or I'll make it too thin either. And then I add the whole tomatoes. I'll throw this on medium heat right now. Go ahead, open these up. Now these will probably already have a little bit of liquid in there too, so another reason not to add too much water at first. You can always add more later. I pour them right in there. Alright, so now this is where some of you are probably asking, oh Brian, all you do is open some cans and throw it into a pot. Well no, there's a little more to that. Now, this is where the magic happens. I throw in my spices. I got garlic. I like buying minced garlic in the jar like this. Always have that on hand. You know, you don't always have time to cut up fresh garlic. This is a very nice alternative. Followed by that, just regular herbs, some Italian seasoning, oregano. And of course, right from my garden, basil. Fresh basil, just picked it before I filmed this. So I'll throw that in right now. I'll crunch it up a little bit. I don't chop it up with a knife, I just throw it right on in there. That's how I like it, I don't mind it. Some of you might want to do it a little differently. But I just crunch it up a lot with my fingers to really release those flavors. Start mixing it up a little, get that in there. Add my oregano. Don't be shy with the spices. You know what, here, let me bring that on in there so you can get a better view of what's going on. Alright, that's a little better. So that's my oregano I have in there right now. Here's some Italian seasoning. Just sprinkle a bunch in there. Now, Italian seasoning already has a bunch of your typical spices like basil, oregano. But I just throw it in anyway, just to cover my bases. Now, the garlic. To me, garlic is one of the most important parts. I'm sure everybody agrees. Let's see how much to take out of here. I'll take a nice big spoonful to start with. Actually, a little more. Start stirring that up. And of course, you see the whole tomatoes in there. I'll take them, I'll take the spoon, and I'll just poke them, break them up into pieces. I don't want them completely whole, but I still like to be intact a little bit. So I crush those up, start mixing it up more, get all that stirred together so it starts cooking nicely. All those flavors start blending together. That's what you want. As it cooks and starts getting warmer and hotter, those tomatoes will be easier to break apart. So I'll finish them off then. Alright, so now I have some garlic in there. Got my spices. Now, here's a little ingredient I add that I don't know if everybody else does or not, but I like it, and that is sugar. I'll sprinkle a little bit of sugar in there, like that. And that, I've always found to give it a very nice sweetness, but not too much. Like I said, if you need more, you can always add more, but it really doesn't take much. Alright, so of course I'm using a wooden spoon while I stir my sauce, because this is one of those Teflon pots that, you know, I'm sure most of you have, non-stick. And of course, you hear a lot of people complaining about Teflon not being safe, but as long as you don't scratch it up by using metal utensils like forks or metal spoons to stir up your sauce or cook your food in, you'll be fine. There, that's mixed up pretty good. Alright, now my sauce is starting to bubble. I'll stir it up now. I like to let it bubble, get up to a higher heat before I turn it down to a simmer. That way it really extracts all the flavor out of those spices, really helps everything melt together properly. To me, it makes a difference. Alright, it's stirred up nice. I just reduced the heat down to a nice, nice simmering level. You'll still have to stir it once in a while. The last thing you want is it to stick to the bottom. You get a burnt taste in the sauce, and that'll just ruin the whole batch. Now, since I'm doing meat, I'm going to get started on that. Okay, so today my meats will be, I have a little less than a pound of ground beef. And then I have what's this, a pound? It's a sausage. Yep, a pound. The sausage, I'm not going to use the whole thing, I don't think. I don't know, I'll decide as I go along, but I usually like to have a little more ground beef than I do sausage. Alright, I just turned my rear burner on to a medium-high heat. Now I'll start adding the meats. The sausage, like I said, I don't think I'll be using the whole thing. But definitely at least half. Set that aside for now. Also, most of you probably already know this, but when the meat's raw, especially like the sausage, you don't want to use the same spoon that you're stirring your sauce with as you are to stir the meat. You don't want any unwanted bacteria creeping around. Alright, so I got the sausage and the ground beef cooking away. Stir it up nice. Now you could season this too. I'll use a little bit of cumin, garlic. You can never use too much garlic. Stir it up nice. Don't forget to keep an eye on your sauce. You do not want that burning as you are cooking something else. Just nothing crazy. Just give it a nice stir. Make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. My wife kills me. Every time I stir or cook something, I make a mess. I'm already starting to splatter on the back. Alright. I'll set this over here to the side. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'll throw a little bit of cumin in here right now. Not a lot, just a little bit for this. Other dishes like a stew or something in the crock pot, I like a lot of cumin. But for spaghetti sauce, not so much, just a little. A little bit of the garlic. It's good for them to cook together. I don't like cooking with salt, but sometimes I use it. Only when I have to. And for this one, I'll sprinkle just a teeny bit in there. If you saw that, it's like no more than a pinch or two. Now, I do love pepper, black pepper. When I like it out of the grinder, I will add that to my meat and I will add some to my sauce. Oh yeah. Again, use as much as you want. I don't have a specific measurement for all the spices I add. I just do it to taste. You know, if there's some spices you like more than others, add more of it. If you don't really know what you're doing, add small amounts. And then what you do is, as you're cooking, make sure everything's mixed up nice. But as you're cooking, you taste it. Take a little bit. Let's see. That's missing something. Yeah, that's not quite there yet. Let's see. What is that missing? I think it has enough garlic. It needs a little more spice to it. I like things a little on the spicier side anyway. Let's see. Keep adding a little pepper. I will add a little bit of salt to this. Actually, I like the pink salt in the grinder. I just do not have any left at the moment. I have to restock. So I'll just have to use typical salt. It's not the end of the world. Just a little bit. Stir it up again. Actually, what I really like in sauce that I make, where is it? Crushed red pepper, like you put on a pizza. I love that in a sauce. Now again, some people don't like their food too spicy, but fortunately, I and my wife both have the same taste, so a little bit of spice won't hurt us. So here's crushed red pepper. Sprinkle some in, again, to taste. Stir it up. So I'll stir this. I'll let it sit. I'll let it simmer a little more. Let the flavors merge together. What am I wasting my time with this little thing for? There we go. That's a nice way to flip it. Sometimes, actually, it is a lot better to do it that way, because when you're cooking with the spoon and just trying to stir it up and trying to flip it over, it doesn't always work well. I mean, especially if the pot is really full and stuff just doesn't have room to flip and move the way you want it to, just pick up the pan, flip it. And of course, it helps to have a really good nonstick pan. Just practice. Just practice. That's the only way you'll learn, is by practicing. You make a little bit of a mess, so what? Clean it up and keep going. I'll let it cook a little longer. May have to add a little something else to it, I'm not sure yet. Tasting along the way, to me, is really important, so you know exactly what you're getting. I don't just, like I said, I don't just put a set amount of spices into my food. I always am adding a little more and tinkering around with it. I've never had a bad result yet. Just take your time, do it nice and slow, do it to your taste, and you know, it'll work out for you. A little bit of practice. I got a little piece of the pepper stuck in my throat. But yeah, I think this is going to turn out really nice. Also, you don't want to forget that you still have the bread in the oven. So all I'm going to do is reach in, make sure it's still good, which I know it is from experience. All I'm going to do is flip it over. I leave it right on the rack, by the way. I don't even put it on a pan or anything. There's no reason to. Don't dirty it. It's a very low temp. It'll be fine. And I assure you, the inside will be very moist. Wow. Okay, now I've drained my meat. Get all that grease out of there. Now I add it to the sauce. Alright, let me throw a little bit of spaghetti on here. Just a little. There, that looks pretty good. Then, bigger spoon for the sauce. A ladle, in fact. Mix it up. Make sure that's pushed to the side a little. You need room for your bread. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. Got my spaghetti, meat sauce. Got bread. Let me get my bread knife. Slice off a piece. Ah, this stuff is good. Alright. Cut myself off a nice little piece there. Yep. I approve. I do indeed approve. Alright. Tell me that does not look delicious. Oh, got your nice bread. I cannot wait to chow down. I'm sure my wife can't either. Alright, you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of how I did. Try it yourself. If you like it, let me know. If you have anything you would have added or taken away, let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, get the notifications. We have an Instagram page, Facebook. Follow us on all that. You gotta learn how to make some better food. Better food. Don't worry, I'll be making better food than this too. Alright, everybody? That's my life solution to a spaghetti and meatball dinner. Thank you. Come again. Wow.